everybody. Welcome back to Dungeon of the Mad Mage. It is session 164. Wait, hold up.
Daka.
That's not what I was expecting.
Double DACA.
Oh, they're docking. Oh, shit.
You can't. You re-surprised me with a nut button previously, and now you're just like not gonna bring it back. It's not gonna be a thing. It was a thing for such a long time.
I forgot.
Okay. Anyways, it's session 164, Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and it's potentially gonna get spicy. So let's kick things off with a little bit of a recap, shall we?
I don't do spice.
You don't do spicy? That's too bad, my man. You signed up for spicy tonight. All right.
I don't remember that dotted line.
All right, let's do this, shall we? We're gonna kick things off with a little bit of a recap.
Punch it, Chewy.
Previously, in the Dungeon of the Mad Mage, on the 12th floor of the dungeon, within the Frethian stronghold of Spiderwatch Keep. Oh shit. Thank you for the sub. The party took their rest after an exhausting day of helping the Horned Sisters escape from Dwemercore, partially exploring the 10th level and defeating Aghast the Stitcher, recovering one of Matashtai's relics, coming to the rescue of the Skulltakers as House Ovrendar used the magic portals to attack them, receiving a prophecy from the entity within said portals, traveling to the maze level, being attacked by Mistitars, meeting and then eventually sparring against the leaders of House Freth. It had been a lot. Valina had been right when she was speaking to Matashtai. Things were escalating, and there wasn't an obvious end in sight. On the morning of Hammer 29th, the party awoke within the study of Driven Freth. They made themselves ready and met again with the Great Mother, Erelal. They promised their aid in rescuing her daughter, Dirzana, from imprisonment on the 10th level. After much discussion, it was decided that the party, accompanied by Zeran Adaragon, would take a magic gate to the 10th level into the heart of Mural's Gauntlet. They would sneak through to the eastern domain of House Ovrendar, launch a lightning attack against whatever forces were there, free Dirzana Freth and her companion Arachnophane, and then retreat before the forces of House Ovrendar could mount a counterattack. There was much at risk. Just getting to the portal meant traveling through the mist and risking the ire of the Zazana, a tribe of minotaurs. Then through Mural's domain, risking the attention of the Misshapen One himself. Then having to battle against hopefully only a few Ovrendar forces and escaping cleanly. This was no simple task. But then again, the party were not simple adventurers anymore. They were wardens of the High Road, champions of Waterdeep's 5th Army, allies of the Legion, leaders of the Skulltakers, and many more other things besides. And House Ovrendar had tested them one time too many. Before they left, Driven pulled Ezrah aside and loaned the sorcerer his staff, hoping to aid the party as much as he could. For her part, Erelal gave the party her protection to lead them through the portal safely. And she also granted them the blessings of Elistrai in order to aid their rescue of her daughter. With that, the party, in the company of the Dark Dancer, left. On their way out of the keep, they met with a party of drow that would serve as their decoys against the Zazana. Their journey through the mist was tense, but mostly uneventful, except for a moment when Bones was drawn away from the group by a mysterious voice. But eventually, they made it to the portal to the 10th floor. Zeran used a scroll to speak with the dead skulls on the portal's frame, gaining a password and activating it. And then through they all went. Inside, the party did not sense the presence of the entity that had previously protected them, but the shadow still remained. It attacked, but was repelled by Eralal's blessing. This time, the party shortly found themselves in a sparse chamber on the 10th floor, their escort and ally, Zeran, at their side. And they were about to step into perhaps the most dangerous territory they had ever stepped into so far. And that is where we fade into our scene. I'm going to go ahead and drop the players onto the map. And we're going to take a moment. I'm going to talk to our players.
Side.
Say what?
I was telling everybody left-hand side.
Gotcha. We're going to take a moment because I'm going to talk to our players about what they have signed themselves up for. You all are 13th level, 13th level, 14th level, 13th level. 13th level adventurers. Extremely proficient individuals. And you are actual people playing D&D. You get to decide how this goes. So, at any point in time during any of tonight's proceedings, by all means, feel free to deviate and do whatever the fuck you want. Okay?
Don't. Why?
However,
Why?
if you choose
That's a
to
mistake.
act upon what you have really kind of signed yourselves up for, what you have signed yourselves up for is a stealth mission. Zeran is here with you. His intention is to, as stealthily, as quietly, as unseen as possible, find his way through the ancient temple complex of Obsidia, Mural's Gauntlet, and to the eastern side of House Avrandar's territory. That means a couple of different things from a mechanical standpoint. All right?
What's it mean from a mechanical standpoint, Jeremy?
And I'm gonna talk about those things. Thanks for asking, Zach. I'm gonna give you guys extreme details so that you can make informed decisions throughout the rest of tonight's proceedings. Okay?
That's extremely cool.
Much like when you explore normally. Oh god. Much like when you explore normally. Every time you enter a new space, there's going to be a check to see if there is an encounter in that new space. Okay? Every time, if there is an encounter, we will play that encounter out, right? Encounters will depend upon what is actually in that space. That could just be an encounter on its own, or there could be a random encounter in that location. Okay? We will play those out as we have those happen. If there is no encounter in a location, then each of you will be making, as long as you decide that this remains a stealth mission, each of you will be making a stealth check. The overall DC for this check, it is a group check. You will be making it without Zeran's aid, necessarily. Mossy will be a part of this unless he is going underground for the duration, at which point Zeran will be your fifth, right? So that's how we're going to play this. There's always going to be 5 checks. Either Zeran or Mossy will be involved, okay? You need 3 successes in order to pass. Your DC on all these stealth checks is a DC 15, okay? So you know that going out of the gate. Each of you has a blessing of Elestrai from Eralal that is a 1d10 that you could utilize on that scenario, or you all have differing abilities that you could potentially try to augment yourselves with, right?
It's a 1d10 or it's a flat 10.
It's a 1d10.
And we can use
It's
it
a-
once?
It's a 1d10. You get to use it once, just like Bardic Inspiration, but you can use it on any d20 roll.
When do you have to...
Any d20 roll or damage rolls. You have to... Well, you already know what the DC of the stealth check is, so if you fail, you know you can use it right out of the gate, right? There's nothing like that. But if you want to use it later on, like in a battle or something like that, just like Bardic Inspiration, you need to tell me that you're going to use it, right? That type of scenario. So, there's that whole situation. Once you do your stealth checks, we resolve whether or not that, if you fail, right, like that is going to cause a potential encounter. We'll be doing our situations tracker the whole time. So every time you fail, right, like a stealth check, that's going to tick up. What that means is the longer you guys take to get through this place, the more likely you are going to run into an encounter. Okay?
Yep.
So finding your way accurately is going to be important. You feel free to use skills to try to determine where the fuck you're going and how the fuck to get there, right? Exploring, which we are normally very rewarding of, is kind of discouraged in this particular moment because it means that you run the risk of accruing more encounters of the situation tracker ticking up, right? However, by all means, you guys are more than welcome, again, like I said, to do whatever you want. If you want to go off on a little side path and find something, by all means, you do that, okay? But I want you to know what the mechanics are as they are in play, all right? Aside from everything that we have just discussed, due to unknown forces, you all have 3 rerolls. These rerolls, however, are only applicable to encounters. So, you can either use a reroll to force me to re-roll whether or not there is an encounter, right? So when I roll the dice to see if there is an encounter, you can be like, oh, that was a 6, we don't want an encounter right now, re-roll that, right? And I will. Or, after an encounter has been determined to have happened, right? If it is a random encounter, you can tell me, once I roll that random encounter, you could be like, no, we don't want that 6, or no, we don't want that 3, re-roll that. And I will re-roll a different encounter. Okay? You have, as a group, 3 of those. Probably, again, do whatever you want to do, but probably the most logical way of using these is trying to prevent encounters from happening. But that is up to you. Encounters are potentially a problem. There's some really dangerous shit here. You're already aware of at least one thing, Mural the Misshapen One, that is potentially a very big threat. You have been warned against fighting him, although again, you are free to do whatever you want to do. Question.
Then we re-roll for bed slashing.
If I determine that that's
Asking
a
the
D6,
important questions.
if I
Right.
determine that that's a D6, then absolutely I will allow you to re-roll that. So encounters are a problem not only because they might be dangerous, they might not be dangerous, it depends on what you get, but encounters can also be loud, right? So encounters act as if they are failed stealth checks, basically. And if you get into a fight, fighting is very loud. Every round that you are fighting increases the likelihood that something else is going to be like, what the fuck's going on over there? Okay? So, does anyone have any questions about that concept? About any of the things that I determined right there? Okay.
You said okay immediately, first of all. Second of all, if I want Mossy to participate in any of the combats, does he have to be out and be one of the 5?
He can participate in the combats, but basically what he'll do is he'll forfeit his first turn every combat if he's hiding underground, right? The concept being that Mossy is not an especially quick on his feet kind of guy, So if
True.
he's not participating in the stealth checks, he's going to be traveling underneath you guys. So that first turn that a combat might happen, he's basically going to be surprised every combat. So he'll miss his first turn.
Okay.
Okay.
Once you are done with your spiel, I have a very unrelated question.
Hit me.
So, in my experience, when I misled into her chamber and triggered all of her sensors.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a question in relation to my experience with sensors in general. Do I have a general idea of how far away a sensor triggers?
Ooh, I would say roll me an Arcana check.
And in general, my thought is if I were to spin up a detect magic, would I catch the sensor before the sensor is
What's the range
triggered?
on detect magic?
30
For
feet.
the sensor.
Probably.
Exactly.
I would say you would probably be able to catch almost anything right before it was catching you. Right? If your allies are a little ahead of you, then they'll probably
Right.
get caught before you would sense the sensor. Assuming that it's not some like super specific variant or highly diverse or specialized
Just
style
my
thing.
general
Just
understanding
general
of
shit.
sensors.
General
knowing
shit,
that
absolutely.
there are sensors in this structure.
Yes, 100%.
That
You do
is
think
a
that
thought.
detect magic would probably get you a pretty good field of vision, not only against sensors but against other potentially dangerous shit.
Now that only lasts for 10 minutes, so if I'm invisible creeping ahead of everyone, I can do that for a fraction of my invisibility.
Depends on how long you guys are
Yep.
creeping around this place. Any other questions before we begin?
Yep, that was
I've
my,
got
that
one.
was my. Okay, go.
Would the cars in the movie Cars
Mm-hmm.
purchase car insurance or life insurance?
Both.
Both.
Because
Yeah,
the
why not
American
both?
healthcare system is screwed up.
Wow, that's real fucked up.
I mean, seems pretty simple, pretty logical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it. I'm good.
Also, pet insurance for some of them.
Oof.
That raises further questions.
So yeah, it's a lot of fucking questions, isn't it? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's concerning.
Mhm.
All right. Anyways,
Are trailers pets in the Cars world?
No.
No, but apparently some cars can also be pets.
That's slavery.
look.
Well,
Okay, as the Pokemon players, I don't think we get to say anything right now. Like, I think we just
Get
take
the
our
ball.
licks and move the fuck on for that one.
To be fair,
Look, we're
the
just
pets have
fusing
good life.
different Pokemons together. It's totally different.
It's not the fusion. It's the forced fighting and.
I mean, the
itty-bitty
fusion is
faces.
pretty bad as well. Let's be honest. We're
yeah,
fusing
there's
them
a
to get the
reason-
best Pokemon. That's pretty bad as well. Yeah,
That's all-
absolutely.
You know, Outright said that they eat Pokemon too, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's canon.
Not just milk
Yeah.
them, also eat them.
100%. Okay,
I mean, if
Let's,
they're delicious, then why not?
let's get this show on the fucking road, shall we? It is the morning of the 29th. You all have just come out of this portal. Your ally, Zaran Adaragon, the Dark Dancer, an incredibly stealthy drow, a dangerous man, is standing next to a doorway that leads out into the wider temple complex of Obsidia. You know that your mission is to rescue Dirzana Freth and her companion Arachnophane from the eastern territory of House Avrendar. You need to find your way through Mural's Gauntlet in order to accomplish that. Preferably, the quieter the better, because you're probably going to have to fight some of House Avrendar once you get there. And if you're real fucking banged up between now and then, that might not go super well. So, It is at this point that that Zeron turns and looks at the party, and it very quietly says or asks, "Is there anything that you all need to do? Any plan? Anything that you want? I can take point if you'd like, or if something else comes to mind, we can do it your way."
Do you have an idea of where she's being held?
East. Far east from here. If I recall correctly, we should be on the second floor of the temple complex. We need to make it down to the first floor and then head eastward, but from there, my directions become hazy.
Do you know if there are traps or anything of note that we need to be cognizant of?
Much of the information that we have comes from infiltrating House Avrandar and from nods at Ashes, your friend. We know House Avrandar has sent many, many individuals into the gauntlet. Very few return. Do not know if that is due to just creatures, traps, magic. I would assume all of the above.
That tracks.
Okay. Do you know, like, about this torture?
Karethi Korza, the
Do they like
Inquisitor of House Avrandar.
Yes. Do they use anything unique? Like, I don't know. Do they like to burn people? Do they
Matt's just kind of like staring at you right now, just like.
do they like to burn people? Do they like to use specific poisons? Like anything that one of us can maybe like smell?
Kareth, as far as I'm aware, prefers to just flay the flesh of her victims. And
So blood.
Okay, ashes,
I mean,
blood.
I'm
And
good.
if that-
I'm good with blood.
if that doesn't work, she invokes her necromantic magics upon them to decay their
Also
very
ashes.
flesh.
Also necrosis.
Okay, ashes, decay, and blood.
Okay, necrosis and blood. I'll like start kind of like focus on my olfact. Be like, all right, I know what I'm looking for. Okay.
Is Ashes transforming?
You know what? I mean, it's not going to affect my rolls at all. So, yeah,
And it's a bonus action that you just get to avoid.
Yeah,
Hey,
sure. So, be like, you know what?
Lasts
Yeah,
like
hold
an
on.
hour, right?
How long are we going to be here?
Less than an hour, hopefully.
Hey, you got any
That's
that
what-
fancy drow poison that knocks people out?
Zeron kind of like narrows his eyebrows at you and he says,
That was a request. from
"We do utilize some toxins, but not the spider venom that most drow do. We make a special paralytic from toadstools."
Okay. All right. So yeah. While they're having that conversation, I'm over there like trying to quietly like.
It's a very muffled she-wolf in a closet.
Oh, speaking of, thank you.
Damn it, Jeremy.
I do it intentionally now. I want to aid him.
Also, if we're dealing with somebody who deals in necrosis, I do have these potions that grant necrosis resistance.
Yeah, how
that
many
we can-
potions you got?
1, 2. Oh,
Got two.
okay.
That could be a thing.
I'm ready. So we're looking for we're looking to go downstairs, and then we're looking to head east and then go down.
Yeah, Zeron looks at you and he kind of like gives you the semi-iffy kind of like hand motion, right? Like, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe we are on the second floor. We will need to be on the first floor. I don't know exactly how we get from the second to the first. So perhaps we go a little east and then down. Perhaps we just go right down and then east. Perhaps we go down and then north and then east and then south. That's part of what we're going to need to figure out as quietly as possible.
Okay, roger that.
He looks at all of you and he says, any other preparations? He nods at Ezrah. He says, you're a spellcaster. Are you going to work any magics?
I'm debating the value in determining their sensors. It takes me some time. I'm not able to...
I think right now we have time. We might not later.
Well, give me 10 minutes.
He puts his back against the wall and just kind of like sits there, and he's kind of like, you know, feel free to ask me any questions or anything like that. Otherwise, you guys can limber up, chill for a moment.
I would
get
like
yourselves...
to wait to transform till after this 10-minute wait.
Yeah.
If that's
Yeah,
fine.
well, your thing is a bonus action, so it literally can be right before Zoran is like, we go to the door, and you're like,
Yeah,
woo!
I would like to preserve
Yes,
as much
perfectly
time
fine.
as possible because there's a case that, yeah, most likely it's going to take less than an hour. Also, might end up taking a day.
Anything else that you guys want to do while Ezrah is ritually casting Detect Magic? Going once, going twice.
I got nothing I can do, so I'm just gonna do some push-ups, getting the muscles ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna stretch the hammies out.
Yeah,
Okay.
stretch the hammies, limber up.
I'm gonna stretch Mossy's hammies too.
This is the most awkward fucking scenario of you trying to stretch moss-covered rock near streams, quote-unquote, hammies.
I say, Mossy, stretch, damn it.
Mossy just kind of like, his hip rotates almost. He has 3 hips, right? His hip rotates almost fully towards you. Well, he has 3 hip bones, right? Because like,
I suppose.
yeah, he's got 3 legs.
His pelvic bones got to look like a Beyblade.
Yeah, absolutely.
What?
Oh, I don't know about this, by the way. I think, did I show you guys Zoran's actual like full picture, or did you just see his token?
Token.
I only remember seeing the token.
Yeah, this is Zoran Adaragon.
Neat.
Dang,
Oh.
cool.
I get out one of the
yes,
super
snazzy
dense
man.
giant crystals.
Oh no,
and
you
I
did.
get-
You did show us.
We
this.
did?
I
Okay,
do remember
gotcha.
this now. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. If we have time, Austin, how do you get your hair like that?
Oh, it's not flowing. Like the if you look in the picture, he has like these necrotic veins, these black veins, and he has the hair like hovering. It's not doing that right now. It did it during the battle.
The color.
Oh, the color?
Yeah, the color.
That's just what I was born with.
Really? Is that rare?
It's fairly rare. Yes.
You're right.
It's good.
My household, much of Breath and her various allies, consider it to be a blessing, a boon from Elistrai, something to mark us as different from the rest of our kin.
That's gotta help when trying to stay in the shadows. Yeah.
Actually, it's a pain in the ass. Gets me called out in every drow social circle that I ever enter. Unless and you see he waves his hand in front of his face, and his face changes, and his hair changes, and his form changes a little bit as he kind of like disguises himself, right? And he says, unfortunately, though, this can be seen through, whereas if I just had white hair, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
That's true.
He shrugs and he says, I should not be the one to begrudge the blessings of my goddess, considering I am And he kind of says it with a sigh, her dark dancer. Like, he says the title like he's not a huge fan of the title, right? Like, he's just like,
Right.
It's a nice name.
He gives you, like, the stink eye because he feels like you're joshing him, right?
I mean, he wouldn't be wrong.
You were saying something, Zach?
Yeah, I take out one of the super dense giant crystals and I give it to Mossy. I say, Mossy,
Ooh.
tuck this in your cheek.
One from the
Yeah.
Land of the Stone
The one
Men?
that makes his arms big.
Okay. The
Don't eat it yet.
the potion
Cheek
of
it.
stone giant strength, basically.
I was unaware that's what it was.
That's what it
Oh,
is.
really?
It's
I just knew it made his arms big.
it gives Mossy the effect. It gives Mossy the
Oh,
effect of
right.
stone giant strength.
He got big arms.
It makes
All right, I
him.
mark
I mean, you fed him one previously. Like, you watched his strength grow, swell immensely.
He got strong.
Yeah, he get real strong off of it.
You work out.
He work out.
Right,
Nice.
but yeah, I give it to him. For later, not for now. For later. Don't eat it now. Keep it.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
Persuasion check.
It's not a persuasion check. I will tell you what your modifier is in just a
I rolled a
moment.
natural one.
No.
Okay, well, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, you give Mossy this crystal, and he looks at you and he nods, and there's a little twinkle in his eye, and he says, "Okay, I hold on."
Remember, he can only roll as low as a 10.
Only if I'm proficient in it. I don't know what this check was.
I mean, technically, I'm gonna look at your character sheet real quick.
If it's animal handling, I am not proficient.
I'm gonna look at your character sheet real quick.
Not with that attitude, you're not.
Persuasion, also not proficient. Deception, not proficient.
Yeah, I don't think Bones is worried about it.
Any charisma, not proficient.
Gotcha. Understood. That's Bones, baby. All right.
That's Bones, baby.
That's an amazing call. Yeah, that's
Right?
that's your
That's now Bones' catchphrase after he kills someone.
That's Bones, baby. Okay. 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes pass. Ezra, you were able to ritually cast your detect magic, and immediately, again, you're used to the array of pings and little lights and things that you see. To the point to where I think that you have probably, as an arcanist, tuned out the various different bits and bobs that are upon you and your allies, right? Those are known factors. What aren't known factors are all of the shit that's on Zeron, right?
Yep.
The short sword at his side is intensely magical. The armor that he's wearing is intentionally magical. He has some other smaller items and pouches on him that are also magical items, right? But just he himself has a faint magical aura, and you're somewhat familiar with this kind of concept. You've actually seen it a little bit here or there, both with Ashes and Matashtai, and you've seen it a lot with other individuals throughout your lifetime, and that is a kind of like a glossier kind of coating of divine magics. The touch of a god or something else being involved, right? In the mix. Zorana Daragon, the Dark Dancer, seems to be more than just a title. He's not talking shit about the concept of being blessed by Elestrai. So, you can see that representative on his person, as basically the entirety of this drow is just glowing faintly before you. Then the portal back behind you obviously extremely magical. You've used detect magic around these portals before, so nothing new there. And you even are able to kind of like tell the necromantic energies that are coming off of the archway of the portal itself from the
skulls,
speak
yep.
with dead skulls effect, right? But nothing else currently at this moment. right.
As I finish the incantation, I kind of close the tome with some intent.
Mm-hmm.
As the
You see
magic
Zoran's
is-
head kind of like pops up in your direction and he nods, right? Kind of like, all right.
All right, I'm ready. Hold on. I go up to the door. Wand of enemy detection.
Hmm. What's the range on it?
60 feet.
60 feet. Okay.
That's pretty good.
And it lasts for a
Pretty
minute.
decent, yeah.
And
I
it
hold it with
lasts
my
for
offhand.
a minute.
Yes, for a minute.
Very cool.
I know the direction, but not the distance from me.
Okay. Let me read.
The wand can sense the presence
Jeremy
of hostile creatures that are
hates
ethereal,
this
invisible,
wand
disguised, or
immediately.
Nope. I'm actually I think the one's really, really cool. I just need to know very specific. Because here's the thing. It says, can sense the presence of hostile creatures. So, it is
There's
very
something there, but it's not
specifically an
hostile.
enemy detecting wand. You do not detect any enemies at this particular moment.
I keep holding it in my offhand, though. I'm ready.
I look at Bones.
me.
Is it blocked or trapped?
Oh, I don't know. I got a wand in my hand.
Ezra opens the door.
I look at it real fast. Looks good.
Ezra, are you going first as being like the detect
Yes.
magic? Okay. The door opens before you. So each time we open into a new place, I am going to ask everyone, please try not to move their tokens as I describe what exactly you all begin to witness. So, a number of things happen as you open this door. First, you all, every fucking one of you, feels as if thousands of eyes are suddenly upon you. You have this creeping feeling up your spine as if you are being watched intently. You look around and across the floors, across the railings, across everything that you see out before you, there are teeny tiny little spiders of myriad colors all over the place. And they all seem aware of your presence. I'm going to give you a very little description of what you see directly before you. Out across the way from this doorway, you see 3-foot-high iron railings enclosing some sort of balcony looking downwards. They look very sturdy, and they're shaped to look like webs, and they're coated in teeny tiny little spiders.
Spiders.
Bones, Ezra, the others bringing up the rear behind you, right? You look out and you see hanging along the walls are steel shields that bear various iterations of arachnid motifs. Kind of duck your heads out. See what's around you. There's a very obvious thing that is going to pull most of your attentions immediately. But before we get to that, two people are going to notice some things. Ashes. This horrid stench of decay just slams into you. It's not that saccharine, sweet, disgusting kind of smell that you smelled in the north, right? When you were fighting against Agast the Stitcher and his hordes. There's not that preservative that's kind of like just horribly, mutating the smell. This is just the smell of death, and a lot of it. Death and rot. And it is coming, it feels like, from below. Bones?
Hello, this is me.
Wand of
I'm
enemy
Bones.
detection pings, and it is pinging from below you all underneath this balcony scenario. Okay?
Okay.
The last little thing is a very, very big thing. And it is this big star icon that you guys, some of you, I think actually most of you should be able to see it, to the east of you.
Why is it uneven?
Yeah, the top
yes.
is weird.
I didn't make it, so I don't know what to tell you.
Likely story.
That's a
Perspective, Zach.
that's a
It's actually perfectly proportioned if you come at an angle.
that thing is a part of the background map. When I give you guys the updated map after tonight's session, you're gonna see that thing is a part of the WotC maps.
Yep.
So
That's questionable.
You can send a
Yes.
message to Watsy if you want.
you see hanging upside down on the roof of the southern alcove, probably about 30 feet up, is a massive, beautiful, and terrifying statue of a monstrous Drider form. The statue is almost hypnotic in its beauty, and it radiates a terrifying feeling of hunger. Everyone can go ahead and give me a religion check. Actually, you know what? No one give me a religion check at all, period. Zeron, in a very, very quiet voice, kind of like curses, and says, "Ready we deal with iconography at all. We have the Spider Queen's eyes upon us." Oh god, there's so many layering fucking things happening here. Matashtai, you have higher than a 15 passive perception.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh really? Nice. Bones, you would notice this as well.
Same.
And I think Ashes would as well. You all see a glinting in the darkness next up in that statue, in the chest of the statue. Bones, your perception is high enough to tell that it's a large gem is basically rested into the chest of this statue. Matashtai, I need a history check from you.
Oh, large gems are never good,
Okay.
boys.
Unless we want to fight a Drider, like right now.
History.
Yeah, okay.
13.
You see it, and at first you're just like, whoa, right? Like you're taken aback by the just
Whoa.
ominous
Whoa.
nature of the statue. And then you see the gem, right? The glint, the sparkle of the gem in darkness, right? Like there's no light in here. None of you guys are walking around with a light. But the gem seems to have some sort of inner sparkle within it. So you still see it kind of like glinting through your dark vision. And at first you're just like math calculating in your head because you're like, that thing's a little far away, and that's a really big statue. That's a big gem. And then you start to think about the shape of the gem and the fact that it's set into the chest of a Drider. And you recall very briefly, weeks ago, this conversation with a dwarf asking you basically to retrieve this thing called the eye of the spider, or the spider's eye. That's a dwarf and his party had absconded with this gemstone into Undermountain. Technically, he was asking you to find them, but he was asking you to find them for the gem, right?
Was that the halfling and...
Nope.
No.
Completely different. This was a long time ago. So I
It's
think
like one of
if
our
you
very
in
first
the
quests.
on a 13, right? Like Matashtai just barely has this kind of like, wait, wasn't that guy shit? And then it's kind of like out of your head, right? Like it's the scenario of it's just a brief reminder of like, oh damn. And then it's like gone as you are now you are taking in the rest of the room around you. Okay. You guys are up on this second floor balcony. You can see there is an open space before
Jorah
you.
Brighthelm.
You can see there's this open space before you leading or
was.
looking down below.
Right.
There are doors to the west of you, leading westward. You cannot see, this room is massive. This chamber is massive. You cannot see eastward far enough to actually tell what is going on in the rest of this chamber. As you enter into this chamber, we are going to do our first roll.
Okay. All right, first stealth roll.
No.
Do I get to
we are-
pick what I roll?
No, we are going to roll our first encounter roll just to see, is there shit here? Right? Like, did you guys just open up the doorway and there's shit like on the other side of the balcony, looking at you? So we're gonna
That's
roll.
fine. I did one. Well, I guess
That's
it's far.
but your wand of detection only has a
Yeah,
60-foot
it's
range.
probably far. Though.
This is a really big room. In other rooms, it's gonna
Yeah.
hit the whole room, but this room is big. So,
Yeah, that tracks.
we're gonna roll a d6, and that is a
on,
6.
Man.
I will remind you, you have 3 rerolls where you can force me to reroll for an encounter.
And 6 is a guaranteed encounter.
6 is an encounter. We're using the situation tracker rules. 6 is an encounter. So something is going to be here unless you guys force me to reroll.
Hey, Jeremy, roll better.
Is that
Yeah,
a yes?
I vote reroll. I vote reroll. Yeah, fuck it.
Okay.
All right, do it.
You have
And
Majority.
another
Yep.
6.
2 remaining.
6.
That is a 4.
That would be likely though.
That I was expecting.
Back to
the
back
shit
to
out
back,
of
you
it.
just burned through all 3
Yep.
of them
Yep.
immediately.
And then the last one's a 1.
Okay.
And just to laugh.
Nothing other than the detected enemy below you, that Bones detected, and that stench of death, and the crazy, scary, beautiful, formidable Drider statue. Those are the main things that grab your attention. What direction do you guys... I'm going to move you guys unless someone specifies that they want to pull away and kind of like be a point guard or something like that. I'm going to move you guys as a roughly even group with Bones and Ezrah out front. Bones being the wand of detection plus perception, and then Ezrah being the detect magic.
I would be taking maybe 5 or 10 feet ahead of everyone, knowing that the wand has a much further reach than my detect magic.
Are you cool with me just putting you 5 feet ahead?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I will put you 5 feet ahead of Bones, so that you're at least just a little bit of Bones in front of Bones, so Bones doesn't trip a sensor, basically.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. You got no encounters, which means we are stealth rolling this. We're gonna stealth roll anything, but it is now at this point that I have to ask Bones: is Mossy up and about, or is Mossy
Yeah.
staying hidden?
No, Moss is with us.
Mossy is up and about. Okay, I'm going to put Mossy up next to you. Zaran is still here, but Zaran is going to fade into the back of the shadows, into your shadows, actually. So we're going to see how this goes. Okay.
That's 3. We're good.
Let me head on over to the session document.
That's also a natural 1.
Whatever.
Jay, roll a stealth.
Yeah, but I rolled a natural 20, so...
Scared.
You have advantage.
Last time I rolled stealth, it was 2 nat 3s.
Well, do it again, bitch.
Why
and
are you nice like this?
that is 4 successes and 1 failure.
1 double failure.
All
Double
good. You all begin to crouch down and slowly move your way quietly through this space. Where are you headed? Is
We
the question.
think east.
I do not want to go near that statue.
You want to
I
go
like it,
north
it looked
and then
weird,
east?
But
You
we
can
need
see
the
far
gem
enough
I mean,
north.
West.
I can take a step towards it and determine if there is
Okay,
anything.
Can we not
ominous.
steal the gem for the quest when we sack this place here in fucking a year and a half?
No, we have to do it right now.
Jesus
You're
Christ,
right.
Mitchell.
No,
How
I'm
do we
kinda with
mute?
Bones on
How do we
this,
mute
like-
Mitch?
All right.
Do I have a way to? Oh, hey.
priorities.
Yep, he's muted.
Everyone
we can
knows
go
Mitch's
ahead and-
sarcasm voice, and that was just the
Nope.
thickest sarcasm voice ever. So
He's muted. I
you
made
know.
a decision. He's muted, and we can continue on.
that is a question though, Ezra. Do you want to step a little closer to this statue to try to see if you can? I will say this: part of the issue with the statue is it's 30 feet up, so you have to get close to underneath it for your bubble of detect magic to hit it. Not directly underneath it, but close. You'd have to basically get like over here for your bubble to hit it. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Do we need
Okay.
to bust out the Pythagorean theorem to make sure we know how close he needs to get?
As-
Yes, I'm gonna map this shit out. because my
Ezra
map
very
is
cautiously approaches. And indeed, as you get closer to this statue, the whole thing is rife with latent magical energy. But very specifically, that gemstone, right, that you can see because the others have pointed it out to you and you're up close to it now, right, or closer to it. That gemstone, while the statue is latently magical, that gemstone is incredibly magical. And it's not got a good feeling to it.
That's not a school.
That's because it's not a school. It's again,
From
it's
the
that
School of Evil.
it's that divine
So
kind
it's
of like
necromancy.
it's
Oh,
that
fucking divine bullshit.
it's that divine kind of like feeling coming off of it, right? There are multiple schools that you detect off of it: enchantment, transmutation, a little bit of conjuration, right? Like a various kind of like cocktail. But those mean things when you're looking at a specific thing or you're looking at a specific effect. It means something else entirely when you feel the touch of the divine on a thing. You've been around enough shit to be like, you know.
I look back. Do we risk it? We know we got to go east.
Are you asking, do you risk getting the
Grabbing
gem,
the
or do you
gem?
risk just traveling
passing.
eastward?
Passing.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I have zero
Mitch,
interest
what
in
up?
being a klepto in our.
I was
escape
confirming
mission.
for myself, right?
I want to make it clear, Jeremy. Nothing I say in whatever this mission is going to be anything other than getting this person out of.
Get the fuck out. Yeah, gotcha.
I am
We're
not
gonna
a
be
loot
tempting with
goblin.
shinies.
No loot goblining for Ezra.
Ezra, you kind of look back at the party, and there's a little bit of like, you know, kind of like shoulder shrugging type scenario. If you want to just make a decision and walk that way, walk that way.
If they're
Otherwise,
humming
you
and
can-
hawing, I'm going to keep walking.
Okay, hold on.
Looking with
Does that? I mean, does any way look like more well traveled? Like we don't
roll a survival
less-
check for me.
well traveled.
Sure. Yeah, roll a survival check for me.
Normal.
Reminder, I said in the beginning of this, right? Like, if you guys want to try to use skills to try to, like, find your way through this place, that's probably recommended, right? 28. Looking around as you're kind of, like, taking in your surroundings here, Bones, none of this place looks well-traveled. There is... The only reason there's not thick layers of dust in this place is because there's obviously a bunch of spiders and maybe like other predators that travel around these places. So it's almost as if there's kind of like maybe the temple itself keeps itself clean. But there's not any signs of like obvious wear or track marks or this is a place. And you're very confident in your skills right here, so you feel very, very, like, certain. There's not a lot of travel around here, period, that isn't very well guarded or just doesn't give a shit.
Okay. I guess whatever then. I guess we'll just, wherever you want to go.
Okay, you guys are heading eastward. As you travel forward, Ezrah, you make it close to this. You all start to head east across this balcony, right? Passing not directly underneath the shadow of, or the, not shadow, but underneath the statue itself, but close to it. As you approach the railing ashes, the smell of the decay is definitely directly underneath you guys, right? It's basically
I'll
wafting up from underneath that balcony.
talk it and mention it that below us there's some nastiness below us.
Ezrah,
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
roll me a luck check. D20.
A luck check.
Call it even or odds, Ezra. What you pick even or odds and roll a D20.
Well, I am an odd fellow, so we'll go with that.
Okay, roll a D20.
Obviously.
Alrighty
Can
then.
I Sork point that?
No, that is not an ability check.
Technically, well,
It's luck. It's not an
specifically,
ability check.
Ability check.
I think Sork points are specifically ability checks. But if they're any D20, then sure.
I'm double checking. Sorry.
I'll let you burn a resource for that.
Yeah, it's ability checks. You're good.
Gotcha. You get close to the edge of this eastern portion, and you can see that it mirrors the western side, right? There is a doorway south. There are more doorways leading eastward. This doorway to the south, Ezra, absolutely is magically locked.
I make a note of that it is magically sealed.
Okay. You guys find yourselves on a similar looking side. There's no obvious egress downwards that you can see from where you have been or where you currently are. Where do you want to go from here? You either need to head north, you need to head down that hole, or you need to start opening doors.
Is the easternmost door magically locked as well?
Neither of these easternmost doors are magically locked. The one on the south or the
only
north.
one I can detect, but
Yes, just this one to the south of you guys is locked.
I look at Bones and I point at the door to our east.
To our east? Okay. Sure.
You gonna go
I go over there.
try that door? All right. Before you open the door, before we do a couple of different things, everyone position themselves how they would want to be positioned, just in case.
All right, well, put me at the front.
Bones, your wand of enemy detection,
Yes,
has a 60-foot range.
it does indeed. Yes.
Which makes things interesting. It means that what we are going to do is we are going to roll for encounter prior to opening this door. So,
Okay.
here is a roll for encounter. That's a 6.
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
There
Christ.
is something behind this door, but here's the thing. Bones knows because of his wand of... I say that, it's only a wand of enemy detection. So, actually, technically, Bones knows nothing yet. But you all, as players, know that there is an encounter here. Are you using a reroll or not?
I'd say we save the reroll. We are right by the gate. If things go real bad, we can piece the fuck out.
So there's something behind here, but it's not hostile to us.
You don't know yet, because we haven't rolled yet.
What?
There are encounters that are hostile, there are encounters that might be hostile, and there are encounters that are not hostile.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
we just know there's something.
We don't know if it's a hostile creature to you yet.
I see.
And your wand of enemy
A
detection...
typical encounter table.
Yeah. Your wand of enemy detection only detects hostile creatures.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Oh. I mean, yeah. No, we're not. Let's not waste another one. Like right.
Let's not
at the
use another
start.
one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then I am
Okay.
going to roll a 1d6 to see what the encounter is.
Jeremy, be a good guy.
Do you guys want me to keep that 4?
Be a good guy.
Yeah, sure.
Keep the 4.
I believe that you're trying to be a good guy.
We keep the 4. Okay. If that is the case,
That is the case.
I'm trying to be fair, but I'm also trying to be fair.
Jay, is that where you are when we're fucking with the store?
Oh, I will be right beside Bones.
All right. Gotta pull my group. Didn't I? Yes. Oh no, sir. Well, that works. Holy fuck. Okay. We're starting off strong, boyos. I need everyone to actually you already rolled that. You're still in the same position. Fuck it, Zach, roll me a d20. You want a 10 or higher.
Yeah, I rolled a 15.
Okay. There are enemies on the other side of this door. Bones
I
knows
look-
that there are enemies on the other side of this door. So because of the wand of enemy detection, you can make the decision not to open this door.
That's right. That's the decision I point to my wand and I slink off.
kind of point back to the southern door.
Ezra gives you this kind of like, can't do it, boss, kind of like.
Did I speak into his mind? Why?
It's magically locked.
Oh, okay.
Can't do it, boss.
I mean, I make a lot of noise. I can open it, but it makes a lot of noise if I do.
Okay.
I can also open it. It will take a lot of.
I speak into each person's mind. Okay, we're going to the northern door.
Okay. If you guys are going to the northern door, start to move yourselves up there.
All right, Mossy, be with me. Dun, 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 dun. What is that?
Dun, dun, dun. As you guys do move northward, you do come up to this door, but you also see that on the northern end of the balcony, it goes further northward, right? So there is another location that you could check rather than these doors. What do you want to do?
I believe we want to continue east when possible.
All right, what if I just like run over there real quick and just see?
You guys want
Is
to
that
let
free?
Bones do a little stealth mission real quick?
Yeah,
It's
sure.
like it's like 50 feet,
Sure.
right? Squares on here are double, right?
You got it, boss.
No, it's we're single right now. You're doing 5 by 5 on the map, the shared map. It's double.
Okay, I'm just gonna slink over real quick.
Okay, roll me your own stealth check real quick.
Roger that. Got the survival check. Hold on. 31.
Okay. Bones, you head over towards this kind of like massive archway leading north. You kind of like peer your head around and you see these immense staircases on both the western and eastern sides leading downwards.
Oh,
Okay.
down you say?
How far is your brain thing? Do you have to be 60 feet of me?
Bones,
I think
what's
it's
your visual
30.
range?
Far. Let me check.
I need to know
Oh,
how
yeah.
far.
I know. I'm getting it. I mean,
Oh,
I have
character sheet
60
takes
dark.
forever.
If it's
Yeah,
just
60
60
dark.
dark, then that's fine. It doesn't matter. I
Yeah,
just
I have
wasn't
60
sure if
dark.
you, as
Oh, it is
your
60
ghosty
feet.
boy, had a further sight range than otherwise.
No, I
Okay.
mean, unless the Maxi does, but I don't think so.
Nope, you're good. Okay. That's what you see. You go up to this massive... This whole place is huge, right? This is so grand, so ancient, and so covered in myriad colors from the spiders, right? Teeny tiny little spiders everywhere, all around you. They all kind of like skitter away from you whenever you come near, but they're all just kind of like watching. But yeah, there's this huge archway leading north, and then you kind of poke your head around each corner, and you see massive, truly massive staircases on either side, heading west and east downward.
Okay. I signal to the group. I say,
Gotcha. It is probably about at this point that your first charge of the Wand of Enemy Detection wears off. Because it
okay,
only lasts for a minute, right?
correct.
So you guys have definitely been kind of like slinking around this upper balcony for at least a minute at this point. Do you want to reactivate it, or do you want to save it for something for a different time? You can let me know at any time that you want to reactivate it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna reactivate it right now.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Well, if we know that our target is both down and to the east, and those stairs go down into the east, maybe we should take the stairs.
Bones,
go
just
down into
slink
the
back.
I only see one set, but yeah.
Wait,
I
so
assume
yeah, I was saying you peek your head around and you see both
Oh,
sets.
there's more. There's more stairs. They go down and to the east.
Yep. That's what I was trying to describe to you. Okay. I'm assuming you head back, you quietly report that to your awaiting allies. What does the group decide to do from here?
Which are the stairs up here?
Up to the north, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's take the stairs. If they are readily available, I vote stairs.
Okay. I'm gonna put you
We will
guys
be on
back
the
in
correct
your kind of
floor.
like your little posse form. Thank you very much for handling the breakout session there. As you kind of like all jump into scenario. You begin to head northward across this balcony, and you all find yourselves again staring at bones. You can show them to these massive staircases leading downwards.
I show them to the massive staircases leading downwards.
And once you arrive, is there a particular location? Do you want to go down a particular set of stairs? You going west? You going east? I'm assuming you guys are going downstairs since you came here.
I think we would like to go east.
Okay.
Yes, Jeremy, we would like to go east.
You are heading east. Okay. This is where the map gets a little floobity. So because you are on the second floor, I am going to need to teleport you guys over to the fourth floor, which is in a different location.
What? That's not how numbers work.
So, una momento. And then
Numbers work.
there we go. Put you guys over there. Now I will delete this group.
TP.
Okay. And it is at this point that I need everyone to roll me another stealth check.
Hold on, where am I?
South.
Sorry,
South.
south and east very slightly.
I see myself. Okay. Stealth?
Stealth check
Let's
for
see.
all of the peoples. All of the peoples.
All right, there we go. That's what I expect.
Okay. We got a
Sorry,
26.
trying
Oh,
to-
sorry, a
trying to
35 because you
load
have
my
advantage,
feet.
right?
Yes.
Okay, 35, a 10, an 8, a 17, and I need one from Matashtai.
Yeah, my page is being
Yeah.
rebuilt. There we go.
25. Very nice. You come down this massive staircase. And as you get to the bottom, it is difficult, right? Like, you guys are Bones, you don't have to do this because of the Boots of Elvenkind, but you kind of like shown the party, wrapping cloths around their boots and shit like that so they don't clop when they actually like hit this very regal, very impressive, like architecturally like robust and phenomenal kind of like temple complex floor. It's like you're walking on obsidian,
Sunshine.
right? So you make your way down these stairs ever so quietly, almost effortlessly. Mossy scrapes a side of a wall, but it's fine. Okay. It was just a moment, just the barest hint of a moment. And again, I'm going to assume Ezrah and Bones kind of on point come around the corner. And Ashes, as you are kind of like in the middle of the pack, that smell is getting more and more powerful. And Bones, you recall, right, that your wand of enemy detection had gone off to something underneath the southern portion of the balcony. You guys are coming out under the northern portion of the balcony right now. You can't see too far across this massive chamber, but Ashes, you can smell that stench of decay is coming from the south, and Bones, you know there's something there. You see a hallway heading eastward.
Yeah. Okay, so
But then there's the rest of this massive chamber to explore. What do you want to do?
I tell everyone, I say, oh, there's something there. Don't go south.
Yeah, it smells real bad too.
All right.
Point east.
Yeah.
Guys start to head eastward.
Slink east.
Flanking east. You pass as far as
Have a
you
thought,
are
guys.
aware.
And I'm gonna say it
Undetected.
now so that we don't forget it later, or I don't forget it.
Okay.
There's multiple brains on this. When we meet back up with the drow, we should ask them to teach us their hand sign language for future endeavors, and also so we know what drow are saying when they're trying to be stealthy.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Okay,
You
sorry.
see
Tangent done.
this hallway heads east very briefly, cuts north, heads east again, then cuts north again. This hallway is massive. It is a 20 by 20 huge, perfectly cut like square tunnel with these little like side crenellations, like molding of webs and spiders, and occasionally the drowish figure kind of like always in some form of kind of like movement, whether it's dance or like lunging, like fighting, or other more sexual poses cover the walls here.
Nice.
You continue to just follow this hallway
Nice.
northward?
Yeah. All I know is I
Yeah.
don't want to go south. So yes.
Okay. Going to
Just for clarity, are we moving ourselves or are you moving us?
I'm moving you guys right now, and I'm asking
Okay.
whenever a situation happens, I'm like, please place yourself where you would prefer to be. But for now, that way we don't do any spaghetti string stuff or anything like that. So, you guys begin to move northward through this long hallway, this incredibly grand regal hallway, and the imagery down the side of it continues to be beautiful. Honestly, even the more haunting imageries that are represented here, you find a large double door barring your way to the north. And as you all approach, Ezrah is able to feel magic on the other side of the doorway, at the edge of his detect magic. Detect magic
Is
goes
the
through
door-
obstacles, right? Or does it not?
To a point.
To a
Let me
point?
bring it real
Okay.
quick.
Can
1 foot
penetrate
of stone,
most
1 inch
barriers.
of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt.
This door is made from obsidian, so it is not an incredibly thick door. I'm gonna ask you to roll me an Arcana check. If you get above a 20, you're gonna get information. Your detect magic is basically powerful enough to kind of like pierce.
I will re-roll that.
Okay.
Nice.
Sork point reroll 28. Abso-fucking-lutely.
That little bit better.
So you have you can sense on the other side of this doorway a familiar magic, but it's only very, very recently familiar to you. Look, double check, make sure I'm not spouting nonsense here. You look, as your detect magic kind of like floods information into your mind, and almost almost unwillingly or subconsciously, your attention is pulled back to where you also feel the same magic on Zeron, right? You feel a divine presence of magic coming from the other side of this door with the same markation, the same flavor that Zeron is blessed by.
Oh. Oh, Lord.
But so to be clear, you're saying it's not. It is distinct from Lolth. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the fuck
Absolutely.
their god is.
Every god's magic has, when you got detect magic up, every god's magic has like a little different flavor, stink, flare, whatever, right? Like they're all different. But you can't, it's very difficult to determine them because that's not your specialty.
Right.
But because you've hung around specific ones, you're like, oh, I can kind of tell this thing. Lolth is one of those things that you're getting more accustomed to, and you can tell that this thing is the same as Zeron because Zeron's standing right the fuck next to you, right? Like,
and the magic is beyond the door.
It's beyond the door. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't make any sort of symbols to stop.
Okay.
Or signification to do so.
Anybody else? We're coming up to this door. Do you guys want to do anything? Bones, are you wanting enemy detection or anything like that?
It's a big door. I'm gonna check real quick to see if it's trapped.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
Here's the. That's a 22.
22. This door doesn't appear to be trapped. It doesn't appear to be locked. It is a big ass double door, obsidian doors, carvings of two drow figures standing facing each other, one's holding out a box to the other's kind of like accepting it. But doesn't appear to be anything going on.
Good.
Seems good.
I take a step back and swap positions with Ashes so he can use his muscles.
Okay. Gotcha. Sounds good.
I use my muscles.
Bones opens the door. And you all see a massive chamber unfurled before you. And again, you're entering a new location. We're going to immediately roll for an encounter. That is a 2.
Jeremy. Okay.
If I rolled another fucking 6, just immediately.
Like, at that point, fuck it. We're fighting our way everywhere.
6s back to back to back.
We're just
Mission over.
Oh,
We're
God.
just bull rushing it to Durzana. I'm gonna fucking dimension door her out of it. Good luck, motherfuckers.
Right? Okay. There is the door is open. There's a massive chamber beyond, but none of you. The chamber holds almost no interest because before you, a life-size statue dominates the southern portion of this otherwise empty chamber. I say a life-size statue. It's a slightly larger than life-size statue. There is a beam of soft light, sourceless, shining down upon the statue, bathing the scantily clad figure in moonlight. The woman, a drow, is frozen in a pirouette. Her arms outstretched and her hands curled as if they were meant to be holding something. Her long hair flows behind her, giving the impression of movements. And unbidden, if he has no control over it, you all hear Zeron gasp audibly as he sees the figure of this statue standing before him. And that is where we're going to go ahead and take our break. We will be back in about 5 minutes or so for more Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. We will see you shortly. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.